Hello, back to the Halo World Championship Tour London. On the desk this time, two Halo legends are joining me to break down this game before and after. Strongside, Wolsey, how are you guys?
Doing well.
Doing
Loving it
well.
out here in London.
Got the Walsh-side duo back in action now.
First time we've had you both on the desk together, so I'm expecting some sort of just serious knowledge on the maps we're going to be playing.
Oh, absolutely.
But first, let's get kind of first impressions on this matchup. It should be a very, very close game. Excel versus Exertus.
Yeah, the battle, it's kind of a alliteration as we're trying to say these team names, but it's going to be a battle. I mean, these are both teams that we've seen play very well when we've seen them play, and like both their tournament lives are at stake right now. They can, win and guarantee themselves a winner bracket, or they could, maybe have to bounce back and defend their spot to even get in the bracket. So let's take a look at the bracket here real quick as we got Excel versus Exertus in the winner's match. And at the bottom, wait for them right now, is Team Ambition, who took out Reformed 2-1.
Yeah, and honestly, when we're talking about Excel, they've always been right on the bubble. They've been that 4th seed, so we really need to see them kind of come in strong against Exertus. They can't overlook them, especially what we've seen past in with these last 2 matches with Epsilon and Dignitas. Breakout matches could go any way right now. It seems like Dignitas and Epsilon kind of overlooked their competition in these matches. So Excel can't overlook these guys, and they're going to have to come in full force.
Well, I think that the key thing here for me is that everybody's been talking about, Excel are definitely 4th. They're definitely 4th. But Exertus, they're the next seed. They're literally 5th. So this is, like I said, it should be so close. But it kind of depends on this golf that everyone's been alluding to. Is Excel really that far ahead of Exertus? Is that golf actually real? Or when it comes down to the day, when it comes down to the tournament and you've got to put it on the line, is that going to prevail?
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, from talking to a lot of the members of the UK Halo community here, a lot of people are always saying that Excel is that clear 4th. But at the same time, when you're in that position, that means, at one point you have the potential to maybe take on one of those top 3 teams, but you still have to defend that 4th spot. You are not invulnerable to teams 5th through 8th.
Well, I'm kind of hoping to see, like I said, the last game we were saying, Infused Hyperion, that's going to be really close. And we kind of hyped it up as it, and I mean, Onset was, sitting there fanboying on the Hyperion squad.
Hyperion was playing so well yesterday.
Yeah.
They were playing so good.
And then it kind of came to nothing. Today, this is one of the games we're kind of hoping a little bit will kind of come down to the wire. Now, having you two on the desk kind of makes me want to talk a little bit about the maps here and the breakout and the strategy behind them. So if you kind of want to just jump into the breakout map and kind of take me through it.
Yeah. With breakout altitude, I mean, obviously you want to get the battle rifle off the start, and then having a lot of what you call nerd nades, basically having those set up, those are incredible for breakout. One good nade and you take down an enemy and you're up a man. And having a 4v3 on a breakout match is incredible to have. So another thing on the map is the Hydra launcher, the Hydra launcher. So if a team can get a hold of that and kind of bring that back to their side, that's another advantage. But I mean, from round to round, we see the aggression, we see the passiveness, and it's always that first initial round where the 2 teams are kind of feeling each other out. Like, hey, what are they going to do? Are they going to be pushing us? Are they coming from this angle? Or sending 2 guys low? So it's kind of like a feeler. That first round's a feeler to see what they're doing and see where they can take it from there.
I always find the first kind of rounds are almost what I like to call vanilla rounds. The fact that they're not going to take a very many risks. They go very standard. They're just trying to find out what the other team is kind of playing like and how confident they are in their shots. One other thing I did notice, actually, at kind of this level, I mean, not at my level, I get smashed in the face by a grenade every game. But the grenades don't seem to be able to pick up that many kills. It's almost like they've drilled to kind of avoid them either side, even though they've got these kind of thrown nades in with the nerd nades.
Well, we've seen even the last match where I forget which player it was, but he was sitting right at the flag ramp, and people know, once you know the location of a player, you can hit those nades in certain positions. But after playing Breakout and practicing for this event, these players have had it drilled into them, like you said. They've gotten killed by nades in so many different situations that it's kind of like a process of elimination. It's like, all right, I won't make that mistake again. Oh, I got nade here. I'm going to know how to thrust away or back away from this potential nade situation.
All right, well, let's move on to map number 2 then and kind of give me your feelings on that and the Slayer. Now, we've talked a little bit about sniper play into this one. Do you think we're going to see the kind of the similar things come out here? I mean, the Epsilon game kind of actually went into that kind of theme, because after that, it kind of went a bit chaotic in the Infused game and in the Dignitas game when they were playing kind of non-standard, I should say.
Yeah, they were playing on like an unconditional way that's normally played. They take the sniper outside to the carbine, and we don't see teams really do that often. So it really threw Rift off. Rift was like, oh man, what do we do? They have sniper outside, they've got guys inside, they're spawning all over, and they couldn't really gain any control. And then we saw the complete opposite side from Epsilon. We saw Snipe Drone just taking faces, his team working around him, just letting him do his thing. So I'm actually curious to see how they're going to play this one out here. Are they kind of like the rough, like scruffy type of gameplay, or are they kind of like the setup, let's make this happen, let's let our sniper do his thing and kind of work around him?
All right, well, now I asked the other guys this kind of question, but now I have a few pros on the desk. I think this kind of goes well. Now, we got to see these teams yesterday, but they were very one-sided games, the top 4. Now, from what you've seen so far of these top 3 seeds, Infuse, Dignitas, and Epsilon in reverse order, how do you kind of now benchmark them against each other now you've seen them play another game?
It's still really tough because obviously you take into account the opponents they're playing, like how good they are and how well were they even playing. Like, were they playing their absolute best? Were they playing their C-level game? In the end, I always kind of look for just shot consistency and amount of mistakes. That's the #1 thing I look for, because it's very telling when you see bad decision making, because that really does carry over. Like, for example, a hot shot or hitting some amazing no-scopes, those, you know, that's going to happen from time to time. You're going to have a fairly consistent shot, and you're going to sometimes pull off some sick plays like that. But those aren't the difference makers. They aren't the absolute biggest difference makers against these top teams when they're going against each other. It's more so who made less mistakes.
So what do you think? You got anyone you kind of balanced out a little bit differently?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with Excel on this one. I'd love to see a 2-1. I'm going to have to predict a 2-0, though. I've got to go for my second prediction right this time. So I'm going with Excel, 2-0.
Okay.
Well, since Strong Side said 2-0, I'm going to stick with the wall side duo and say 2-0 as well.
All right, let's go.
It's a little bit of a bromance actually going on there between you two. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for that. Let's get this one underway and throw over to our awesome casters. It's Golden Boy and Onset.
All right, thank you so much. Man, I tell you, it's like Walshy says a word and then his smile just blows up every time.
Illuminates.
And it's whenever he's around Strong Side too, by the way. There's a little couple, you know, like we actually had dinner with them yesterday, and you know, Strong Side's you know, girlfriend was right to him. Didn't talk to her the entire meal. He just kept talking Strong. He ignored her.
He kept actually moving closer to Walshy as well.
Yeah, he kept moving closer.
Like, and the closer they got, there was little sparks.
Yeah,
Did you see
exactly
that?
right. They started to share food together. It got really weird.
Using the same fork. I mean, it was pretty peculiar.
Yeah, it got weird. It got weird. Really weird. But anyway, how's it going, guys? Big thank you for joining us here. It's going to be a good matchup. I'm quite excited for it. You know, I think a lot of people had that Viperio Infuse matchup as one of the, as Wonderboy said, the marquee matchups to pay attention to. But I think this one could very well turn into that. Based off of that interview from yesterday, AZ said a lot of people gave Excel that 4th spot. They kind of just christened it to them without even thinking about everyone else. And Exertus, they're here to play. And Abra, dude was pulling off some magic yesterday. You're going to hear a lot of magic puns.
Oh, so many.
That's right, so many. Because when you are not a good commentator, you just make magic puns. But luckily, I am a good commentator, so I could do both. Isn't that amazing?
You're a talented man. I mean, a global
man,
icon. Self-proclaimed global
people must
icon.
look at me and think I'm just an obnoxious douche. Anyway, half right.
Your words, not mine.
So let's talk about Excel. Now, this team here has kind of been sitting in that bubble, have not been able to get past that 3rd place situation there. But they are dark horses that could potentially finish in the top 3 this weekend. Could this be it for them? And you also have to talk about the duo Godshot and Snaky. You know, these two players had a good showing yesterday as well. I think this squad brings a lot to the table, and I'm interested in seeing what they're going to do in this altitude breakout matchup.
Now, I see Excel as just one of those teams that hasn't quite clicked. Like, they've got a really solid lineup as far as their players are concerned, but they haven't sort of got that teamwork quite down yet. If they click, I can see all of a sudden they could move out of that 4th place. But so far, they just seem, they don't seem to be progressing. They seem to be, if anything, just sort of regressing and getting
interesting.
They just sort of, they get through to these semifinals we've seen, but they haven't improved on that. They haven't taken games off of the top 3. So I would like to see them do big things today. I think this is their last chance to really make a statement on the top 3. but I know that you're a big Exertus fan.
I
know
like
that
what I
you
saw
love
from
what
yesterday.
you saw yesterday. So,
It was, you know, what we saw. So essentially, each of the top teams, you kind of have this inclination that they were going to move on to the next round. Not to take anything away from the teams that they were playing against, but you know, the truth is, you know, that's just the nature of the beast, right? But Exertus showed up big time, and not only did they make a statement that was equivalent to what we saw from, you know, Dignitas, Infused, Epsilon, Excel, but they did so in a fashion and then came out and said, we're coming for that spot. We're not going to let them just, you know, waltz in to, you know, the top 3 or the top 4, top 3, whichever. So I think Exertus is a hungry team, and they have that opportunity now to just show everyone what they're capable of. On the other side, though, for Excel, they've proven time and time again throughout the tournaments, the qualifiers, that they were right there. But as you said, they just haven't been able to get past that point, and they could possibly be regressing. So is this an opportunity for Exertus to take over?
It could be. I think you've nailed it with the confidence thing. I think if you look at Exertus, the way they played yesterday, I mean, Abra played really confident. Xur is a player that I'm a big fan of as well. They're sort of on the upward spiral as far as confidence is concerned, and you wonder if Excel might be on the other way. So if this first map could be so important for the swing of the series, and we're going to be back on Altitude with some Breakout.
Yeah, that's right. Exertus need a huge win here. They need to make a statement against the 4th-seeded Excel. It's going to be Altitude Breakout for game number 1, then Rig Team Slayer for game number 2, and if necessary, Eden Strongholds to close things out in this series. Of course, folks, make sure you're letting everyone know what's going on here. We could see a slobber knocker of a matchup between these two European powerhouses. Will this be the case as we get ready for Breakout on Altitude? Look for players to prioritize that battle rifle as well as play on the ramps. You know, you saw 2 Foxy with those double nades, really crushing it in that matchup against Viperio. What are you looking for here from both sides?
It's all about that first kill on this map for me. I think whoever can nail that and get that man advantage, it allows you to then be aggressive as a team and push the other team because you have that extra gun to put on those players. But Havoc's going to be the man that we're going to start with, and I like this guy. He's a nice, gentle giant, but in-game he's a bit of a beast.
Yeah, well, he's going to need to be here as he's playing the BR. He does find a player. It's going to be AZ across from him, and he just has to play this one slow. So that was actually 3 nades, if I'm correct, sent over his way, and maybe 1 more. So I'm not sure if Exertus used up all their nades, but they do get that pick on Lunny to kick things off. And they get another kill as well. AZ is going to fall off there, or excuse me, a Havoc is going to fall off. AZ now with it, and he does manage to get the kill. Zuh, huge play there as he progresses that flag forward, and that was exactly what we wanted to see from Exertus.
And did you see Xur there in the player cam? He was hyped. He really enjoyed that last kill, and that is setting a benchmark, Alex. I mean, going out that strong, picking up those kills so quickly, and how quickly they got across the map and were aggressive on the last players alive. I was so impressed with that first round.
Hey, but you know, you got to do it again. There is going to be another player in front of him. That's going to be, let's see here. I think Snakey ends up dropping. No, that's Lunny. Lunny is playing around. So Zuh, waiting to see if he can get this pick. Identifies 1 player. Havoc, of course, playing that BR. We identified that at the beginning of the game. Looking here to see if he can get one. It's going to be Snakey. Not much he can do. And Zuh is having a run here. They are going to get that first blood. Now looking to progress his flag further, and what that does, right, I like it. He picks it up because it makes them look. It makes them put their attention over to the flag and forces movement. That was a smart play.
Yeah, and Havoc, exactly what you said. He's in a dilemma now. He knows that there's still players alive. There's 3 players on the map, but he knows that flag is also moving. So they did actually manage to get a kill back there as Snakey was taken down. And Lunny has actually picked up another kill here, but Caliber is on the flank, and it looks like this is now a 2-2 as Caliber picks up another kill, Alex, and it's now, it looks like the Excel team are actually moving the flag with Lunny.
Lunny's by himself, but he does have that objective. And because he dropped it down low, that means they know exactly where he is. But that's so smart, just opting to move around and make sure that he catches someone off guard, but he ends up getting charged down there. And that will be another round win for Exertus. A huge showing here, coming out strong with 2 wins in a row. Can they do it a 3rd time is the question.
And Caliber, I mean, I said before the series started, I wasn't too hot on this guy. I haven't heard of him before, but a massive couple of kills in that round, which allowed Exertus to push that flag. And
BR flank was really strong.
It really was, and they clutched up at the end there in that 1v1 situation.
Let's see what Caliber's going to do. He's going to grab that BR, but Lunny does manage to get first blood on AZ with a nade. So good nade placement there. It is going to be 3-3. You have a teammate actually getting aggressive up top. That's going to be Abra working with Zuh. We've seen what Zuh could do in the middle, but Abra from yesterday was an absolute beast. Looking for another one in front of him. Crouches down. Caliber's there for the support. Absolutely filthy plays as Abra draws the fire and allows his teammates to make the situation benefit them. He pushes up, gets aggressive. And now he identifies Havoc, just absolutely falls down right at his feet. He gets the Protector Medal, and that will do it for a third round. Exertus are beast right now on set.
And if you notice how many shots were going in on that one player, their team shot was absolutely unbelievable, which means in-game they are communicating absolutely perfectly. You are the last player alive there. We saw Abra just pushed across the map, but before he even got the chance to finish the kill, one of his teammates had closed it out. And yeah, you're quite right, Alex. I mean, Exertus are beasting it right now.
They only have one nade. That's going to be Abra's nade. On the other side, no one from Excel has nades remaining. So does Abra save that nade for a crucial moment, maybe to weed out the BR player potentially? And I think Havoc, as a matter of fact, got away from that spot. He doesn't know that he has that nade, of course, and he ends up using it there potentially. So yes, he does. It's interesting to keep track of all this because every piece of equipment they have matters. Excel's going to get a couple of key kills there. That's going to make it into a 4v1.
And Snakey is always the player on this team to watch as he picks up the final headshot there. That was 3 kills in that round going down to Snakey. He's starting to heat up, and that is the one thing that Excel are going to need if they want to make a comeback in this game.
Well, they're not out of it yet here on set. They have 2 more rounds to catch up to, so a big opportunity for Snakey and the crew to get right back into this matchup. A couple, preliminary nades flying in. You always want to be mindful of that player that's going to try and charge up. AZ, though, with a clutch nade on Havoc, is going to drop him. That's going to give him first blood. You have Zuh pushing up in the middle. AZ, he's playing this one intelligently. He picked up a new stack of nades, 2 nades as a matter of fact, and he does identify one. That was a beautiful bank nade
as well. The aggression that came in straight away. I mean, he just jumped onto the side of the map. He was the one who wants to make move. He might be caught out though, and he eventually is taken down by Godshot.
He looked around to the right because he had the detection that he was by that ramp. Just couldn't quite follow through with it. And also a credit to that one player, Godshot I believe it was, that moves in and gets that kill. That was really well played, but now Godshot, he has to play this one smart. He has a battle rifle, pokes out, picks off Caliber. 3v2, now it's going to be in their favor. And Zuh's going to be in a battle though. He now evens things up. Zuh takes out Lunny, and now he has a battle rifle of his own. So they're going to be right back in their usual positions here. See what they can do.
Godshot's putting some shots down here. He's actually in a battle. Get away from that grenade there, Godshot. Great job to stay alive. And Snakey actually cleans up that kill as he picks up the distraction medal. This is the duo we were talking about at the start of the series. Godshot and Snakey. These two work so well together. And in a 1v2 situation, I'd be very, very, very surprised if Exertus managed to clutch this up and Zer's taken out. Simple as that. These two work together so well.
Here's the thing. If Zuh would have went up on the ramp a little bit further, he would not have been picked off there by Godshot, actually. He would have been able to get the kill on Snakey, and we could be singing a different tune here. But still, that was really well played out of Excel. They're right back in this matchup, folks. And who would have thought, right, how strong Exertus came out at the beginning. Getting that first blood, it seems like a fire was lit under Excel, and they are fighting here, folks. This is exactly what you want to see out of these two teams.
Yeah, and Snakey picked up a killing spree there, so that's 5 kills in Breakout in a row. That is a huge step up from where they started this game, as he's now fighting Abra, but Abra with some fantastic shots across map. Alex, this might be my new favorite player in Europe because he is not missing any shots from what I can see at the moment.
Yeah, but they need to be able to even things out here. They have that man advantage, Excel. They can capitalize on it. Abra needs to make a play. Of course, he's working with Zuh. Zuh's had a pretty solid shot as well. He gets outside of the map, but he gets picked off by the battle rifle from Havoc. Now it's going to be the last player left alive. That will be Zuh. And Zuh knows that the pressure will be coming. They got identified in the bottom, and he manages to take out Lunny. Huge play there. Maybe can he find another one, but he cannot. And now it's going to be all tied up, folks. 3-3 in the count as Excel have answered back 3 rounds straight, folks. What a game we've had so far.
And it looks like Exertus have finally awoken the beast of Excel. They are stormed back into this game. 3-3 now. Zuh with some great shots though, showing that he's not intimidated by any of the Excel players. But Excel are doing a great job. It seems like they're starting to click at the right time.
Get this first blood. If you're Exertus, you need that first blood. And I like the fact that they've been putting in those key shots. Good angles. They got to get that off of that point though. They cannot use it for too long. And oh man, it just Zuh manages to get out of dodge there ever so just briefly, but they did lose a man. So they have that man advantage, Excel, looking to take advantage of it. One player hanging out by that ramp. You can always expect a player to be there. A nade that did not work out in their favor, though. AZ picks off Lunny, evens it out, 3-3. Hydra has been picked up. We haven't seen that become a factor much in this game here, one.
No, we haven't indeed. And it's actually Zer who's picked that up. And the beauty of the Hydra is that you can actually use it to locate some of the opposition on the team. As you see, Abra picking up another kill there, but that's replied by Havoc. But the Hydra can be used to actually locate the other players on the opposition team. As we see,
I get that tracker.
He's going to be the last one alive here for Exertus. And it's actually Havoc who's taken down. My apologies there, Alex. I got myself nice and confused.
It's all right, but it's okay.
Havoc got taken down, and all of a sudden,
this game has been back and forth. This has been a good match of Breakout.
This is Breakout I like to see.
Yeah, it's intense and it's been fast-paced, and these players have been pretty much giving it all they have. Does Havoc get a pick with that nade early? Zuh, though, does find one on Lunny. That has to be frustrating. Again, Zuh has been the star in this Breakout matchup. While, you know, of course, I'm a huge fan of Abra and what he managed to do, Zuh has been a superstar. Can he keep this going? Long-range pistol shots, though. He does manage to get a couple hits. Now, brings this one forward.
Happened, though,
There's only one player left, and he's going to be in the corner. This is it. GG. And that will do it. Oh, man, I cannot believe this. Exertus takes game number 1 against Excel.
I'm so impressed.
5-3 in the count. And, I mean, you have to be. When they came out that strong at the beginning there, that you just cannot ignore that. That was really, really good.
I could believe that there. That was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, we saw Zer there, 8 kills in that game. And for a player to come out of pretty much nowhere on this team and to take down Excel in a game like that, picking up 8 kills, and he was always the first engaging.
Yeah.
He was always the one that was pushing top
mid.
Well,
and also keep in mind that AZ picked up a lot of entry frags, right? He got a lot of kills in the beginning there, getting 7 kills. So, and we didn't even highlight AZ all that much.
He's the skipper. He's the captain on this team. He's the leader.
And so he had to be, and in that situation, definitely show their prominence. Now, though, getting ready for this next one, I mean, it's going to be Rift Slayer, Excel. They need to give them everything they have. I could potentially see this one going to a game 3.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. I mean, Excel, they've got to show up now. I mean, they've kind of, people have been going, oh, how do you predict Excel 4th all the time? You know, but they seem to be on a bit of a downward spiral. But this Exertus team has come out of the block so hot, and I'm so impressed, not just with the shots of the players, but the teamwork and the aggression. I mean, we talk about aggression, but it's timing your aggression. It's pushing as a team. And Zer, Abra, and AZ, as we said, and Caliber picked up a couple of clutch kills in those rounds. And they all seem to be firing at once. So that's, if you're Excel and you're on a downward spiral, you don't want to come up against a team who is all on fire at the same time. So to be honest, Exertus are looking good in this one.
Oh, yes, they are. But now this is going to be a real challenge for them. You know, keeping up with Excel on Rigged Slayer. And how crazy would that be if Exertus is the one that comes out with that win?
It would be an upset. It'd be the first real upset I think we've seen this weekend so far. Snakey's definitely going to have to pick up a lot of slack for Excel here on the slaying side of things, but I think they're putting too much pressure on him almost in game. Like, he's always the one that has to go off for them to win games. I think some of his teammates definitely need to pick up the slack, definitely need to pick up a few more kills, maybe just even staying alive and working around the map and, you know, not getting overzealous about picking up kills. But Exertus, I think if they play like they did there and they keep aggressive, especially they cannot let Snakey get the sniper.
Yeah.
If they do let him get it, I want to see them aggressive and try and shut him down as quickly as possible.
I mean, we saw Abra, what he could do with the sniper as well. Some pretty big plays from him yesterday. Huge opportunity, though, for Exertus, right? To be able to make that statement, live true to the words that they said, you know, in that interview, that AZ said in that interview. He said, everyone gave Excel that 4th place spot. We are here to, you know, we are just as capable as they are. So if you're just joining us, folks, Exertus Esports, they come out on top 5-3, getting ready for this second match. It's going to be Rigged Team Slayer, and if necessary, if Exertus wins this, it will be done. But if Excel does, we will be going to Eden Strongholds. Game is going to be starting up in just a little bit. We talked about what we're going to be expecting from these two teams. You know, look for Snakey in that sniper, look for Abra to get hot, but also look for Zuh. Look for Zuh to be that guy that, you know, lives up to what he accomplished in that breakout matchup, being a dominant force in the top mid. Does he do it again? Does his pistol find its way to victory one more time? It's going to happen right now. Let's hop right into it, kicking it off with Abra, who has the scatter shot.
Yeah, and Abracadabra, Alakazam, as we've talked about, he's got to be the one to pull off some magic as I go for their awful magic puns there.
It's okay.
But he's going to be
We knew this was coming. Everyone knew it was coming.
It had to come at some point. It's good to get it out of the way at the start of the game. But he picks up the first kill of the game.
What did he do? He just tossed a nade.
He took that guy out. He was trying to just
It was a toss it and forget it.
Look at the aggression already. 3-0 down, and they are pushing on the spawn. And the scatter shot's in his hands. I mean, that's a great start for Exertus. That's exactly the start you want. And if you're Excel, that is the last thing you want right now. And the aggression that's coming from them, it just seems to be catching Excel off guard. But Snaky doesn't actually seem to be moving.
Seems like there could be a problem here. You see Snaky talking with the admin, trying to get this sorted out. So I was looking up. I was like, this is how, because there's a giant screen in front of me. So I'm like this. You just see like the quadruple chin. But that's okay. You know, it's a thing back in the day, right, where people who were fat were considered to be successful.
Right.
You know,
yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
really
I
living
see that.
up
It's
to
sort
this.
of the because you could afford to eat, sort of.
Because I could afford to eat,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm being this guy. I'm the fat guy.
I'm proud of you, man.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks. So Wonder Boy, he's the poor kid. You know what
he's
I mean?
the pauper.
He's
Like the chimney sweep.
Exactly,
You can start to
yeah.
see that, can't you?
Exactly.
You can imagine him
I
being
actually can see Wonder Boy being a
knocking
chimney
on
sweeper.
your door, a bit of coal all over his face. Can I sweep your chimney, sir? That sort of thing. And
Oh my God, it's amazing.
have I nailed it?
That's amazing. Okay.
I said
Seriously.
yesterday I was going to keep it.
No,
look after him
I
as
mean,
well,
listen.
but, I mean, he's
Wonder Boy.
he's
No,
just
no.
stormed into
Do
the
not. Do not come here. You are not allowed back here. Harry, go. Go. Bad boy.
Look, pick up your chimney sweep and get out of here, buddy. All right?
He just wants everyone to desperately love him.
He's just
Everyone
looking for,
in the house
he's just looking for
just
some
give
loose
love
change.
to Harry.
That's all it is. A bit
Love
of loose
him.
change to put in his pocket. He needs to replace some of the bristles on his brush. That's all it is.
Oh, we were just talking about, coins and stuff. I got a couple, Harry. I'll toss you away. I got you, buddy. All right.
We did so well today. We got through a couple of games without starting to roast each other.
Oh no! We were
off
roasting
again.
me and Brycey at least. Brycey basically said that my head was the size of planet Earth, which again, I mean, most will agree. I got a pretty fat head, but it also comes with the territory. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't have one without the other.
Exactly.
You can't have a massive head. And
If
no
I
body.
if I was skinny, I'll just look like a lollipop. You know what I mean? Just like this massive thing, and
Yeah,
just,
you look like a chopper chop.
exactly right. Who wants to have that? So. There was a situation with one of the Excel players' Xbox, so we are going to be restarting the matchup. And I want that hype music, by the way. That altitude breakout music was so high. It was
gets you
like,
going in a minute.
dun-dun-dun. I want that again. So production, make it happen. But yes, folks, it's time to get into the matchup. Players are gearing up and ready to go. Slayer the Rig. We saw Exertus had a strong start, but let's see if they can actually do that one more time. Aber just tossed a nade and forgot about it. Maybe he does that again. But it's time, folks, to hop into the action, and we're going to kick things off with Snaky from Excel.
Yeah, he's going to be trying to get that sniper rifle. As we see the stats who have popped up on screen here, his kill death ratio was 3.0, which is very impressive for a Slayer. That's exactly what you want, but he's actually shut down at the start of this game, Alex. And Lunny, I think, has actually managed to pick up the camouflage.
Indeed he has. He has the camo, but Abra went right back for that scatter shot yet again. Finally, though, Lunny there for that pick. He does get identified, trying to get out of this one if he can around the corner. Maybe he can find his way up the bunker to the staircase. He does manage. So, big opportunity now for Lunny to be the driving force in this matchup. Give him a couple key kills. Let's see if this is going to be the case. Snaky getting aggressive on snipe as well. Looking around, huge
Lunny.
shot though, as that plasma caster, some of those rounds were sent his way, looking for another one, but it's going to be a little bit to the left here. Getting challenged around the corner. Hit markers for him. Looking for another one perhaps, but he's getting naded all over the place. See if he can get out of this one. 7-4. Excel's looking good here off of this restart, but that scatter shot will not find its way. Havoc and Lunny do manage to find 2 kills, 9-5 as we jump over to Havoc.
Yeah, and we saw Lunny hit that great shot just there, but it just seemed, with the camouflage, I didn't know if the best idea maybe sometimes is to drop that sniper off to a teammate who doesn't have that.
He really didn't have much of a choice though, right? He had to bring it back there, or either that or you give it to the enemy team. So there wasn't much he could do, but I do agree with you there, right? If you have camo, you kind of want to be more of an aggressor, get in their face. I do agree with that.
I just think you've got the advantage. If you're near your teammates there, you drop that power weapon off to them, then you can work around the map, and you can use the fact that they have that sniper rifle as another distraction as well as the camouflage. So you have the potential to flank around the team, but Havoc's had a really good start here, and he's got that SMG in his hands, and we know how much that can wreck as he's pushing back to the top engine, but his teammate is actually taken out there, and it just seems there's a lot of back and forth at the moment. Nobody really has control of the map. But Havoc's going to be sneaking towards the nest here. I think he's aware there's a player behind him, and it's a crouch fest, but he does actually pick up that kill on AZ, and that's a nice statement for Havoc.
And he gets that camo. Oh, he doesn't get the camo. Camo's still available, and he's keeping a camera on it. The enemy team does manage to pick it up. I think that was Caliber who got possession of the camo around that 9:47 mark. So we'll keep track of that one as it comes up again. 10 kills separate these two squads. Exertus not going off to the start that they had initially. You know, they seem to be struggling a little bit to get their ground here, charging a lot of battles and really taking a lot of overzealous 1v1s that have not really worked out in their favor, looking to get their 10th. AZ's kind of trapped in a really bad spot. Zuz going to have to back away in basement. You still have that one player lingering inside of the nest there. Nades flying in all over the place. And you're starting to see Excel gain ground and feel a little bit more comfortable here. 12 kills separate these two squads. Lunny and the crew looking to force this game 3 here if they keep playing like this.
Yeah, and Lunny managed to sneak away with that sniper rifle, and he sees a player coming out of that yellow hall area, and he hits that headshot. And all of a sudden, the kill feed, if you notice there, 3 kills went down to Excel, and all of a sudden, Excel seems to have woken up in this series. This is a fairly commanding lead, a 15-kill lead, and Lunny's going to be controlling this blue tower, as we've seen so much. As Snaky actually has a sniper rifle at the same time, but he's taken out off stream. But Lunny's just going to be trying to lock down this top engine area, and it seems like Excel are starting to click here as Godshot picks up yet another kill. But Abra does answer back on Godshot. It just seems that they're trading kills at the moment, and Lunny's just trying to lay down this part of the map, but the sneaky Zerg sneak around that corner.
Well, Havoc's there for the stop, but you could tell that there was frustration there, right? Like, he looks around, he's like, how did he get behind us? A brilliant sneak coming out of Exertus. That was a good play there. But for Exertus, they need to continue to build upon that. It is a half game lead. What is it? They have half their kills right now, so apologies for the stumble there. But they, you know, it's not impossible. AZ with the sniper now, if they get a couple calls, if he gets 3 shots, you know, they're kind of back into the swing of things. Maybe they play a little bit more aggressive. I like Zuh up top. They need to communicate with one another and be able to make these plays. But Zuh just could not hang with that scatter shot. Once it gets in your face, you are done. Lunny picks up 2 with the plasma caster. Those are plays you just cannot allow to happen. Your sniper is going to be trapped inside of BR base. This is not looking good.
And one of the problems there for the Exertus squad is they actually had 2 snipers in their possession at that time. And when that does happen, sometimes you find that you can get pushed too easily because you get too focused on 2 sides, 2 areas of the map, and then with only 2 of the teammates available to actually help as the stick comes across map on Lunny there. That's a great grenade there, long range, sticking him straight in the face and lighting him up blue. But going back to my point, when you have 2 sniper rifles, sometimes you don't have those short-range weapons and the mid-range weapons, so it's easier to be pushed because you can't really watch all of the angles on the map that you can with those other weapons.
Yeah, it's very true. AZ, though, comes out big with a kill, and we're starting to see potential comeback here, maybe, but 20 kills now. I mean, this is really bad. This is starting to look grim for Exertus. They have to figure something out. You know, it's not over till it's over, but it is not looking good. Oh, okay, good jumps. I'm almost certain he did not expect that. But you know what? Gets a storm rifle out of it, so why not? Now he just needs to play slow as he sees he's surrounded by players. But this is exactly what happened before, right? They allowed, you know, you can't keep in mind everything. And because of this, because of this sneaky play, one of these players, they are going to get back whacked any second now.
Yeah, but Snaky's done a great job here. He's transitioned across the map with his teammates. As you can see, Godshot, his partner in crime, is below him there. Havoc picks up another kill here. And all of a sudden, I've just looked at the score, 42-18. I mean, XL have just turned it on. And Snaky's pushing into this top engine area, finds Abra, who's caught off guard by these shots there. His teammate's going to push in and try and finish that kill as he's getting shot from the top. But Xur actually shuts down Snaky. I don't know if they actually managed to clean up that kill that was in the BR tower. I don't think they did, but Godshot has finally done that, as it just looks like this game is starting to come to its conclusion, Alex.
Yeah, potentially. Godshot, though, gets picked, and is that a little teabag?
I think it's a little
like
cheeky,
a
little
crouch,
bend of the knees.
Little crouch in action. 20 kills now. Again, folks, you know, XL's just been continuing to extend this one as much as they possibly can. But Snaky with this scatter shot. Oh, peekaboo, I see you.
Oh, don't
no.
miss. No, Snaky.
Oh,
Snaky boy.
Dude, that was on stream, my man. Oh,
Look
man,
at
that
his
is
face.
unfortunate.
Look at his face. He's just,
and it was at that moment he knew he done messed up.
Yeah, he done goofed. That's as simple as that.
That was messed up, man. But you know what, though? They still have a substantial lead over their opponents. You just got to shake that one off and move on. But I'm not, because that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was
not expecting that one at all.
He had the option to pick up a pretty easy triple kill there. He had the camo and the scatter shot, but all of a sudden he missed shots. He was lit up, and then I loved how the Exertus player actually chose to use the animation just to make him feel it even more.
Yeah, I mean, you know, those the little things, right, make you feel good. But unfortunately for Exertus, this is pretty much all but done. At this point, 3 kills. And this will do it. 50-26 could potentially be the score here if Snaky and the crew just start to rack up these kills. You know, I have to say, though, I did not expect this based off of what we saw on that breakout matchup. And also based off the start before the reset, right? It felt like, you know, the squad had a little bit more confidence. Oh, goodness gracious.
Not again, not again, Snaky.
Not 2 times. What is this madness?
He needs to put the scatter shot down. I think every time he has touched that weapon, it has not gone well for him.
It's a cursed gun, man.
Second time you have been embarrassed, my friend. I'm sorry. I know you got the trade, but you cannot be traded in that situation. Snaky, I give you the props before the game, man. You're meant to be making plays, not let me down here.
Not be the plays.
Yeah, not be the plays, exactly.
Oh, goodness. Well, he is going to find one player in front, and he does get assistance from Havoc for the kill. 49th, 50th locked down. That will do it, 50-30. Despite Snaky having a couple of questionable situations
hiccups,
there.
I think we'll call them.
Hiccups.
Yeah.
Excel manages, of course. That happened late in the game, and they managed to take this one. And still, we also got to talk about a solid performance. 15 kills and 8 deaths, 11 assists on his end. Not a bad showing by any means. Godshot with 14 assists on his person. That a great game it was for the squad. Caliber and Abra struggling a little bit there. They couldn't get anything going at the midpoint of that game, and they just kept getting shut out. You started to see Excel gain control of that inside, and once they had that, they never stopped, and they had consistent sniper control as well. Those are things that if you are Excel, or Exertus, excuse me, you're just shaking off, because this is it. Do or die. We're tied going to a Game 3. I'm just excited to get to cast a Game 3. This feels like Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen many Game 3s this weekend so far, but one thing I noticed from that game is you could see the difference between the top teams when they're holding the sniper rifle and teams like Exertus and Excel. It seemed like every time that one of the teams had the sniper rifle in their possession, they were always getting shot, or there was always something flanking
Well, I also think
around.
that's just because of how the matching is, right, between the two of them. I actually think these two teams are very close to one another. If it was you know, like the games from yesterday, you saw a lot more composure and consistency on both ends. But because these two squads are very evenly matched, you're going to see that. You're going to see, because they know that that's what they have to do. They have to rattle the opponent and stop them from being able to make those plays. Unfortunately for them, Exertus just couldn't quite do that. And Excel was, pun, excelling at doing that against Exertus. Ha,
yeah,
funny.
That's
I'm a
good.
funny man.
He is a funny man. That's
My
why
mom
we got
told
him
me
in.
one time, you are a funny man, and I believed her.
That's why you're here, my friend.
That's why. Pay me the big bucks.
For me, you know, the camos didn't seem too effective. I mean, sorry to bring this up, Snaky, but I think we have to quickly just discuss that play that happened towards the end there.
Well, yeah, you know, those are plays that, you know, in a situation like that, right, you're looking to close it out, and you have a camo, and you're like, okay, I have a potential triple kill opportunity. You have a scatter shot, which can absolutely devastate your opponent. And, you know, you kind of get a little, you know, shaky, right? Snaky was shaky.
Snaky was shaking.
And I just think that he had just, you know, move on, right? Like, it is what it is. Of course, you know, the stream will never move on from that.
Oh, no, the stream never forgets.
The stream never forgets. That would be,
they will never forget.
You know, live capped or odd shotted and reveled for days.
Yeah.
But despite that, though, it was still, you know, Snaky had a great game and was a huge contributor to that victory there. I mean, you know, you saw the stats. They speak for themselves.
He got 15 kills.
Despite that funny situation, it was very much the Snaky show.
Yeah, and a quick shout out to Godshot again. 10 kills, 6 deaths, but 14 assists.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge game for him.
Huge game indeed. But now, folks, we're going to a Game 3. Exertus looks strong. Hey, look at that. 5-3, 50-30.
Illuminati confirmed.
Yeah, right. Half-Life 3 confirmed. So Exertus and Excel both take games off of one another. Now it's time for Game 3, the deciding match between both of these teams. It's going to be Strongholds on Eden. I think this is the first time we're going to be seeing this one. So thoughts on where you need to be positioned here? Because I feel like everyone has a different idea of what they want to do on this map. Some players prefer holding blue side. Some players prefer holding nest side. You know, what do you think?
I think it's all about basically rotating where you're not have a presence on the map. So a lot of teams try and hold the blue bend and the catwalk because that actually gives you control of the height of the map. So you're basically, you don't mind giving up the red nest too much, because if you have the blue bend, you can work around the blue base. And obviously you have the height advantage, as I previously mentioned, but you're also close to the camouflage, which is popping up.
Exactly. You have a lot of toys to mess with on that side as well. But Zuh, he's going to advance forward, knowing that that cover is going to be gone, trying to get away from that one, but he really couldn't find much out of it. And now you're starting to see, as Excel are racking up some points here. Caliber in a position where he has no shields. Lunny continuing to advance forward, and he's just being a distraction with this one. Gets the back whack, gets the rockets as well. He is going to have to reload those, and will find himself one kill confirmed, maybe another one. This is looking really good as they have a trip cap on Exertus. They need to answer back. They have to just shake off that loss. But a long-range rocket kill from Lunny, looking for the double. Does he get it? Abra in front of him. And I have to say, just impressive run from Lunny so far.
Yeah, he's really started this game well. He used that camouflage to great effect, found himself a rocket launcher. And, I mean, shooting rockets across map is always a bit risky, but when it's such a good feeling when you do connect with that long-range rocket. And Control has been solidly in the hands of Excel at the start of this. Lunny seems to be the catalyst that's got them going in this series.
Have to figure something out here. Pressure's going to be coming, though, from Catwalk now. That's, I think that's Zuh, who is right ahead of Lunny. And yes, it is. And there's going to be another member there as well. So playing that corner, but having to get out of dodge on that one, because he knew that if he stood there and if he stayed in that particular spot, there wasn't going to be much of a chance for him to stay alive. But as he goes back, there's going to be a flank coming through. Rockets come up in just a couple seconds. Zuh does manage to pick up 2 kills, and they have full control of the outside, which makes Excel backing away a reality here for Exertus. But Havoc, man, if there's one thing he just is not doing, it's backing away. Camo comes up, or excuse me, OS comes up, gets picked up at 950. Rockets are still available. Surprised that they did not get control of that one. And they're moving right back into the blue band now.
I think it's a smart play, actually. Snakey picks up the overshield, and instead of picking up the rockets, he actually pushed past to try and take control of that blue bend and let his teammates pick up those rockets. He didn't want all the power weapons. He was trying to share them out, but a great job from Exertus to shut them down that blue bend. But it just seems like control seems to be consistently in the hands of Excel at the moment. They currently have the red nest and the catwalk, but they've got to try and just hold down this red nest as Snakey's going to be the player just sneaking up and finds Zuh, and he's going to regain rocket controls if he can pick up this kill. But Lunny, once again, comes in to give him that helping hand, and I've been really impressed with Lunny so far in this game.
Yeah, Lunny has been a difference maker here, getting a double kill on that play and just opening up the opportunity. Look at the sneakiness out of him. Just pops up from behind, out of the woodwork here. Does manage to get another double kill, and he is feeling himself. He knows that he is playing a great game of Stronghold so far on this map.
Now, this is a player that we never give enough love to, and it's Godshot, because he is the glue on this team. He doesn't care about his statistics as long as they get that win. So he's going to be the player who's going to be putting in a lot of shots and trying to contest a lot of these strongholds as he, again, Lunny comes in with that help, but the kill started as Godshot then picks up that kill on Zuh, and there's another player trying to push them on the catwalk to take control of this stronghold. But it just seems dominant so far. As it picks up the stick there, and I think Snakey has actually picked up the rockets outside as well. If Godshot can pick up this could be huge. As he finds Zuh in front of him, can he finish this kill? He can't, but it just looks like domination so far from the Excel side.
Snakey now on the approach. I've been enjoying what I've been seeing so far from this squad, right? They always have someone on the rotation to pick up the slack. If someone gets killed, there's someone there to stop it every single time. And really just the frustration I'm sure Exertus must be feeling here, because you have players basically crouching around that area, hiding around the catwalk, and every time you think they have an opportunity, someone pops out and catches them off guard with their pants down. Those are the things that are frustrating if you are Exertus. And now that you have an OS and a rocket player in blue bend, you need to focus your attention on catwalk, which is exactly what they're doing here, and they need to get that red nest potentially. They have to put points on the board because this is getting out of hand here, and they end up losing control of Catwalk. It is going to be a trip cap, and they're spawning on red side here. Rocket's right in front of him. I don't think that there's much of a chance that that Exertus have to be able to fight out of this one. Only 10 points remaining.
Yeah, and it just seems like all the time we've seen the power weapons in the hands of Excel, as well as that overshield. They have not been able to be shut down by any of the players on the Exertus side, and it just seems like this trip cap is going to be held to close out the game. And I mean, Excel have showed us after that first game that they are more than in contention for some good places in this tournament.
Yeah, but Exertus gave them a heck of a match.
They gave them a good scare in that first game.
They certainly did, but Exertus just could not keep it together. Godshot and Lunny, strong performances from them. AZ, he has to figure out a way to shake it off and step it up. 1 kill and 13 deaths. He did have 6 assists, though. He had the most assists out of anyone on his team. So at the very least, he's contributing to those battles. But really, it all came down to how those players were in control of the nest and the catwalk. They never allowed them to have presence on that catwalk. And every time that they did, I mean, you got to talk about that Lunny double, right? Yeah. He gets on the ledge, he crouches around, 2 members push in, he finds one, back whacks, gets the kill with the AR. Those are clutch plays right there, and Lunny was the superstar in that matchup.
And it's the patience he showed in that play. You know, he saw 2 players on his radar, but it's the experience to not just jump out. He waited until they both went past him. He was aware, and then he jumped up, he used that AR, cleaned up both of the kills. Great play from him, and it just seemed like they were clicking. Even when we saw Snaky pushing up into that red nest area and contesting 2 players, both of the kills were cleaned up by Lunny. He was looking over his shoulder and going, "It's all right, buddy, I've got you."
Yeah, they had each other's back, right? Every single time. You know, you constantly saw that, right? Lunny, he gets 1 kill, gets 2 kills, gets picked off, right? Then here comes Snaky with an SMG. He's in your face, and that just happened time and time again, and Exertus just could not find an answer for it. They committed a lot to the catwalk. They weren't succeeding there. They went outside and committed to nest. They were not succeeding there. It just, getting shut down is probably the most frustrating thing, and when that happens throughout the course of that long matchup, you start to really get rattled, and you don't know how to respond. And that's exactly what we saw out of Exertus. They needed that Team Slayer win, and unfortunate for them, they just, you know, despite the strong start that they had, they let it get away from them, and that was it. I mean, nothing to take away from Exertus, though. They're a great team, and they're not out of it just yet. Of course, we will see them in the decider match in their pool, but for now, we're going to toss it over to our analysts to break down that game between Exertus and Excel. Take it away, boys.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. Well, that didn't go quite the way you guys were thinking it was going to go. Get a few ex-pros up here, and all the predictions go to hell.
We both predicted 2-0. We still had the correct team, at least. We
still had the correct team.
So Onset is outscoring you, which is crazy. It shouldn't really be happening.
And if you disregard the first game, it technically was a 2-0, right?
Yeah, it was right. It was right. We were good.
I think that's just, you know, kind of seeing the silver lining there. Anyway, let's kind of get your first impressions on how that went down.
I'll let you take it.
It was a game of swings and like a match of a roller coaster, because you look at the first match where on Breakout game, you know, 3 rounds in a row versus 3 rounds in a row, those kind of swings. And then it just seemed like once I looked at Excel as like a roller coaster in that match, because they started off so slow, like started to have some downsides to it. And then they started to build this momentum, and they got in game 3, Strongholds on Eden, and just took off. There was nothing that could stop them. I mean, that was a massacre. One thing I just noticed when I was watching Excel throughout that entire match is, compared to even a squad like Dignitas, I did not see that many mistakes. Now, of course, I saw some misexecutions, something like Snaky's couple different scare shot battles. You can't disregard that. But the whole point being was, it wasn't bad decision making; it was bad execution. Execution is an easy fix to make. Like, those players in the future are most likely going to hit those shots. Every once in a while, you're going to have some misexecutions, and you can't overanalyze that. But as far as the decision-making, I just saw a lot of solid decision-making on the Excel squad.
Okay, strong side. What were kind of the first impressions you took off of that in a kind of a general sense?
Yeah, well, I mean, with Breakout, it was definitely surprising to see them go down 3-0 that quick. But you saw them turn it around right after that, and they brought it back to 3-3. And then Exertus, I mean, they just pushed back. They were honestly getting every first kill, it seemed like. I think there was only 2 rounds where Excel actually got the first blood. So that's a big thing with Breakout. If you're not getting that first kill, it's going to really hurt your team. And Exertus, they capitalized on that. They put a lot of pressure on Excel, and Excel was just pushed up against the wall. And we saw like little bursts of aggressiveness, but they didn't capitalize the entire series through that. But yeah, and then when Dave was talking about the rig as well. You saw like the classic play-by-play, like the holding the snipe back by the bunker. And you saw Looney just sitting back with camo snipe, hitting all kinds of snipes. But yeah, they played really well.
All right, fair enough. Well, speaking of Lunny, I believe we can hear from the man himself. Josh, take it away.
Cheers, Bryce. Lunny, let's get that breakout out of the way. What happened?
I think it was just down to me letting down the team, and well, breakout's a bit random. Anyone can take anyone. We saw earlier Riot take Epsilon to around 10. That you wouldn't see that in a Slayer or a Capture the Flag. It's just random.
So you rebounded back perfectly, obviously on the next two maps in a row, and the analyst cited you as the MVP. What do you think to that?
Well, no shock there really, but I'll take the compliment.
I see Snakey's been practicing with scatter shot, right?
Yeah, well, the lad doesn't miss, but when he does it spectacularly.
So give me some of your strongest game types that you're hoping to carry you through to the rest of the tournament.
I mean, any Capture the Flag and Arkel Snakey with a snipe on Coliseum Slayer. We know how to keep him alive. We trust him to hit the shots. Any CTF, Coliseum Slayer, count us to win.
And any final consolations to Az and his 1 kill?
Unlucky Az. Better than our last breakout, though. Goose, didn't he?
All right. Back to you, Bryce.
All right, thank you very much. Seems in quite high spirits there, if anything.
Yeah, I like how they're able to joke about that, and I think that's really important during plays that there's mis-executions, because we've all had teammates in the past where you exasperate the problem almost. Like if I miss a shot, sniper's like, well, what are you doing, sniper? And it ends up making more mistakes in the past. And then other times where you can have teammates where it's like you miss a shot, it's like, oh man, you completely missed him. Nice miss.
And you saw Snakey after the game too. They were joking about it.
That was hilarious because he's like, when he misses a scare shot, he misses spectacularly.
I think that's something that's kind of underestimated actually in a lot of competitive games and competitive teams. You touched on it there. I mean, when a teammate is kind of breathing down your neck, you feel actually extra pressure. Like
Absolutely.
if you want to let down, I've known players like that who are also kind of demons in their own team. Like they can throw their own teammates off because there's just so much pressure on them. But for me, I mean, they won, which fortunately took a little bit of pressure of that off. But the fact that his teammate can kind of laugh about it, joke about it, rather than jump down his neck as some players would do.
That's the best thing you can do. Like, you can't overanalyze it. Like, well, he needs to aim a scare shot back. It's like, no, he just had a small misexecution.
It's one flaw. It's going to happen from time to time, and as long as they can have fun with it, and they won the game, won the series, and you know what? It's going to be a funny clip later on.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to kind of, any criticism level at Snakey is going to be any worse than anything he's probably thinking himself. He's probably like, everybody just saw what I just did.
All he's thinking right now is, we got the win, and we're going on to Sunday.
All right, well, let's concentrate on map 1 then, the breakout. 5-3 to Exertus, and I mean, Exertus started off really strong.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to touch on AZ's grenades. He had a few grenades getting the first kill in the round, and that's what we were talking about. It's those first kills really can change that entire round. And you saw them just putting a lot of pressure and using a lot of the jumps around top middle, going up to the sneaky spot where you have 10 seconds. They were taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
And later on through the rounds, you saw players just kind of posted up, waiting. It's like, all right, I know you're coming around that corner. Don't go up to that sneaky spot. So they kind of regulated it later in the match. But Zuh, his home was top middle. He did not leave top middle. He was just laying down shots over at Battle Rifle, back over to the main ramp, and he played it really well.
I think one of the main things with that actually is the fact that, I mean, we noticed obviously that's where he could his home, but the other team must notice it as well, but still couldn't counteract him. They still had such a hard time dealing with him in that position, and that kind of just shows how good he is at it and controlling his own area.
Yeah, did a great job. And I just think, in general, Exertus, one thing they did very well was sticking together. I can't remember the exact round number, but at one point, we saw 2 members of Excel running towards bottom because they were outnumbered. And this is odd. You really never see when a team has numbers, you never see them drop down. But the thing is 3 members of Exertus dropped down. 3 were down low on the bottom half of the map, which is unheard of when you have numbers. But the point is that they chose a strategy, and they stuck together, and they pushed together, and it was successful because of that.
Yeah, and then another thing to touch on, Caliber. Caliber made a few really clutch flanks. I think there was 2 or 3 rounds where he flanked around the other team. Nobody was watching bottom middle. You need to have someone at least checking from time to time. You don't want to get flanked because that can easily cause a 2-kill deficit. So Caliber was able to pick up a double kill one time and then picked up another kill and got another guy weak. So that was a big turning point as well, just having him flank around, Zug controlling top middle, AZ just hitting every nerd grenade that he can possibly hit. But they came out really strong that match.
Awesome. Well, I think that kind of nicely wraps up that map. Let's move on then. Let's go on to the rig. Let's talk about how this went down. Obviously, a little bit of a reversal of fortune now. Excel kind of just showed why they were a higher seed in this case.
Yeah, it was just amazing sniping, and just positioning in general. Like I said, the parts that stick out to me most was the snaky scare shot parts, just because it's like, oh, he had the perfect opportunity to maybe get like a triple kill over
How
Engine
often
2.
do you see 3 players in front of you when you're sitting there with a scatter shot?
You even
and they were
saw it. He's
close?
like, oh, who do I go for? And then he's like, sees a sniper guy, tries to shoot him, and then just the whole crowd here is like, oh, as soon as we saw the animation happen. And yeah, that was incredible. Like, either way, it was going to turn out to be awesome. It's like, he's either going to triple kill or he's going to get embarrassed. And it was the latter. But it was, that stuck out the most to me, because you notice a lot of these plays where it's like, it's not like Excel, we're just hitting ridiculous no-scopes and hitting these super clutch, shots every single time. They were, in fact, like, I would say, under their execution level. They could have played above their level of execution, and they still had that score. It was, what, 50-30? 50-31?
Yeah, no, it was 50-30. Yeah, they got the stake.
Yeah.
And something that I noticed, Exertus was just running around everywhere. There wasn't much teamwork, and it seemed like it went from being 15 to 20 something all the way to 45 to 26 in just in a matter of seconds. So I think Exertus, if they were able to use a little bit more teamwork and work together a bit more, they were just getting caught in those individual fights. And that's what we've seen from all day yesterday, just players getting caught in those individual battles. And that's where the better team shines, when just having a little bit of teamwork. You put 1 or 2 shots on a guy, you back down, and you let your teammate finish. Exertus they had a guy flanking, and nobody was able to push up to assist that guy who was flanking. So everyone died, and then this guy is flanking. He's like, all right, well, now I'm here by myself. What am I going to do?
I think one of the things I'll take away from that, and it's quite funny, really. I mean, Snaky had really good stats on that map, but I think everyone's just going to remember that scatter shot thing until the end of time.
He's like, you don't remember like +10, man? Why we got to talk about that?
I think he was top of the leaderboard on like 15 and 8. But anyway, let's move on from that map. Let's talk about Eden, and this is where Excel really put the hurt onto Exertus and just wouldn't let them free. They just wouldn't let them take any control. They were all playing spectacularly well. Guys, what did you take away from it?
Well, taking the second game and third game, Excel showed when they have control, they can dominate with it. They can be very efficient when they have some sort like full setups. And it was incredible watching them push around together on Eden. I remember at one point, Exertus was trying to take Blue Band towards the end of the game. It's like, oh, they need to get this so that they can stop the time. And an Overshield player and a Rocket player both go over towards Blue Band. It's like, well, guess what? They have 0% chance now of taking Blue Band and need to go for Catwalk or somewhere else.
Yeah, and they controlled the Overshield. They controlled the rockets. I think they got every single rocket and every single Overshield. They just kept Exertus at bay over in the blue attic.
I never felt like Excel was ever all 4 down or any situation like that.
Yeah.
I always felt like Excel had someone in the game, and Golden Boy highlighted at one point, just saying like, that's gotta be super frustrating in Exertus, because anytime they think that they finally slip by, like sprint over to Catwalk, like, all right, I can start to cap the stronghold. And then someone jumps out around the corner with the SMG.
There was someone waiting for
They
them.
always just had like they were just one step ahead.
Yeah, it seemed like that the entire game. You had a guy sitting in security, just waiting for the guys to run top middle to Catwalk. And just every time they would get a couple guys in there. I think we saw Looney crouching around the side.
That crouch walk around the wall at top Catwalk, that was brilliant. Like, he may have taken a little bit of damage from his own plasma grenade. It was almost like the Snaky situation. It was like, I see too many people, what do I do?
Yeah,
I'll throw a grenade and melee at this guy. But
in
the end, he still got,
flying by, didn't even do any damage.
He still ended up getting the double kill. There was a third on Catwalk, but same point, you get a double kill in like a 1-on-2 or 1-on-3 situation, you more than did your job.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, fantastic, guys. Thank you so much for that. We've had 4 teams now go through to the bracket. It is, in fact, the top 4 seeds: Epsilon, Dignitas, Infused, and Excel. But now is the decider matches. 4 of the next teams will go home, and 4 will go into the bracket. Up next, after the break, it's Ironide versus Riot. See you then.